So Pride Month literally just started, and we already have some bullshit.
Less than a month ago, a transgender woman was violently attacked in a video that went viral. Now tonight, police say Malaysia Booker was shot and killed. Booker's body was found in East Dallas near Ferguson Road. Here's David Goins with the investigation.
It is these horrific images where people in Dallas learn Malaysia Booker's name. The transgender woman was brutally attacked outside an Oak Cliff apartment complex in April. Tonight,
the victim was positively identified as Malaysia Booker.
Dallas police named her again. Detectives found Booker face down early Saturday morning in the 7200 block of Glen Valley Drive after officers responded to a shooting call.
I'm just really speechless.
Rodney Kelly lives nearby, says he had no idea anyone had been killed, but admits after that video he knows Booker's story well. After her attack in April, Dallas detectives worked to identify those seen throwing punches at her. One arrest was made. Tonight, DPD says there is nothing yet to connect that individual to Booker's murder.
Hate crimes, if you will, are a serious topic. We at the Dallas Police Department take them serious, and it's just unacceptable.
This evening, community activists gathered calling for justice for Booker.
She never really had a chance.
Tonight, Dallas Mayor Mike Rawlings adding, "I'm deeply saddened to learn of the murder of Malaysia Booker. I call on anyone with information on this homicide to contact DPD."
And we will find the perpetrators.
In Dallas, I'm David Goins.
Their top story tonight, a suspected serial killer accused of murdering 3 people in just 5 days. Dallas police say this could be the person killing transgender women. He's charged in the death of Malaysia Booker. Here's Teresa Woodard with the investigation.
How many murders might be solved with the arrest of Kendrell LeVar Lyles is a mystery. Also a mystery, why this 33-year-old went on an alleged killing spree in the month of May.
We don't know the motives at this point.
Police believe Lyles killed Malaysia Booker on May 18th. Booker is a transgender woman who drew national attention for surviving this brutal beating weeks before her death. On May 22nd, police say Lyles shot and killed a woman in an apartment complex on McCallum in far north Dallas. On May 23rd, they think he killed a man half a mile away during a drug deal at a strip mall parking lot on Coit. And on June 1st, police found the body of Chanel Lindsay, another transgender woman in White Rock Lake. Police call Lyles a person of interest in her death. Investigators zeroed in on Lyles, they say, after a tip from someone close to him.
And that witness was able to provide details that were known only to the suspect.
Witnesses tied Lyles to the far north Dallas murders, but DPD detectives did the rest. Discovering Lyles' car matched the vehicle Malaysia Booker had last been seen in. They say cell phone records put him at the site where Booker died. And police are not done. They are looking into other unsolved murders, including a transgender woman in 2018.
And we'll look to see if there are ties to Lyles to those other cases.
One man charged with 3 murders in 1 month, and there could be more.
I have a story to tell you guys. A story that will bring tears to your eyes once you hear it. Just last year around this same time, there was a woman. Her name was Malaysia Booker. She was involved in a car accident. Not a serious accident, not an accident that would cause a lot of damage to the car that was struck. Just a small, simple fender bender. And you know what happened? A group of people pulled her out of the car. They continued to beat her. They continued to call her the F word. I can't say it because I'll get demonetized or banned. But they continued to beat her and call her this word simply for the fact that she was trans. No one helped her. It was all videotaped, and it was all the same type of people that participated in this type of activity. Now, I'm not going to say anything because, you know, apparently this group of people is a protected class, and, you know, they're always the fucking victims of everything, and they claim that they can't possibly be prejudiced or discriminatory, but it is what it is, and I'll get more into that later on in the video. Well, not too long ago, In fact, it was earlier this week it happened, or possibly last week. Either way, shortly after George Floyd was brutally murdered by those 4 officers, and yes, I said 4. Yeah, it was one that kneeled on his neck, but all 4 of them are responsible. You don't do something like that. Or anyway, right after that, there was another woman. Her name is Ayanna Dior, another trans woman. Got into a car accident. Nothing too serious. 30 different people brutally attack her. And not only that, but it was filmed as people laughed. Let me get more into details. This was sent to me by a fan named Madeline McPherson. I want to thank you for sending this to me, because I have a lot to say, and you know, people always want to hold up signs that say silence equals violence. Well, I'm not going to be silent on this. To be honest, I never have been. As there were protests nationwide in opposition to systematic, sometimes fatal racism, some of which has been seen overt displays of aggression by police, a new video clip online shows a black Minnesota woman being brutally jumped. The woman, Ayanna Dior, is also transgender. According to social media reports, the beating, which took place on June 1st, occurred after a fender bender. Some say the crowd included anywhere between 15 to 30 cisgender assailants, mostly male. Now, I'm going to stop reading this report right now. I notice it says mostly male, mostly cisgender, but here's what they didn't mention in this story at all. Everybody who attacked Ayanna Dior was black. These were all black people doing this shit. And nobody wants to say anything because it's so fucking politically incorrect to point out how fucking bigoted and prejudiced that black people are. But I'm going to continue. A crowd also stands around to watch. Out has chosen not to embed or share the video, but it is widely available. Many, including the Out editorial staff, have refrained from spreading the footage, as it can provoke pain and trauma for other black folks, no matter the intended reason. That's fucking bullshit. The reason why they don't want to show the video is because it's going to show you who's really out here doing this shit to transgender people. They don't want anyone to know the politically incorrect truth. That the majority of transphobia in this fucking country, especially in regards to black transgender women, it's mostly by black people. And nobody wants to speak about it. Nobody. But because they're not going to show you the video, and to be honest, I'm not going to show you the whole fucking video, I'm going to post a few snippets of the video, just so you can see how I'm not fucking lying, and you can go and see for your fucking self. But I think it's important for everybody to know what these animals are capable of. And yes, I fucking said animals. It has nothing to do with race. If I saw anyone else doing this shit to somebody, I would call them the exact same thing. They're fucking animals. You don't fucking gang up on somebody over a fucking car accident. Someone who isn't even picking a fight with you. You attack someone and 30 people ganging up on one fucking person. Let me calm myself down and show you guys this fucking video.
Got an upper B roll. What? How many y'all get down? Everybody up there Gucci. All black people. All black people. Not one white motherfucker. She's from, but brand new money. Hey, not letting her come outside. Letting dudes come outside.
Why is everybody surrounding you though?
Hey, money. What you on? Hold on, I just got you off her. Like you, I'm finna get up out of here for 12 times. Bash that shit or something. Come on. My whip right here. That's what you do, bro? Try to nail your ass on my mama. So let me hit the dope. I ain't gonna argue with you. Y'all gonna have to hold on. We ain't gonna do that on live. Put this in your bitch booty, folks. Hey, put this in your bitch booty, folks. First grade. OP. No. 15. That's not even right. Got D money. Hey, look at D money. Look at D. Look at D money. She would've bugged. Whole time she wanna fight, oh bro. She thirsty. Oh, she like that, yeah, bro. Oh, photo. I'm trying to see. Oh no.
Boy, your ass.
That shit over with, y'all. They tweak it over, bro. Great. Watch out. You got your ass. Hey, here. What you talking about? Hey, here. Help us, fuck. Get out. Get out. Damn on, bro. Grade 8 wailing. Damn, they doing her like a real dude on bro grade. Yeah. They doing her real dude. Where my weed at? Oh, bro grade. Pass that shit, bro. Let me hit that shit, bro. Real show on my baby. Let me see, bro, on my dead. I ain't got no lighter, big bro. I ain't got the lighter, big bro. Watch out, bro. Y'all tweaking, bro. Beat the nigga. I recorded all that. I'm in this bitch smoking. Oh, bro, good. I'm sleeping your ass when you come out. Where my little brother? Hold on, my shit. I'm sleeping your ass. Dumb bitch. Come on. Hey, Mike, bro, be my dude. Let me apologize. And you owe me a dub too, Mike. I might be even that with this up. He even that, bro. Y'all owe nothing. Hey, nobody owe nothing, folks. Hey, what's up, babe? Watch out, babe. It's up, shorty up like that, ain't gonna last. Hey, bogus as hell, folks. Her friends bogus, for they ran for a bit. Her friends just got up out of there on the floor, ain't gonna last. See, for her friends, they booked.
Now, after reviewing this video for the 6th time, I left the snippet in there, but you can see that there were at least like 3 or 4 different women that literally tried to stop the fight before it even happened. They tried to break it up. They tried to get the crazy lady with the blonde dreadlocks or whatever that shit is on her fucking head. They tried to get her off, and then she fought, and then apparently like her boyfriend fought. You see all the men in the back, you know, just smoking weed and chilling out. But another snippet that I left in here is the beginning clip where the guys are, you know, posing for a selfie in front of the camera. And he said it, not me. He said it's nothing but a bunch of black people here. So don't accuse me of, you know, being, you know, biased, because they said it, not me. Now, it's absolutely ridiculous that no one in this video even thought to even step in and try to help. And also you can tell that the people who owned this small corner store or gas station, whatever you want to call it, they also didn't call the police. Now, I think we all know the reason why, because the whole George Floyd thing. I'm guessing, you know, nobody in this town trusted the police. But to be honest with you, let's say someone did call the police, and the police did show up guns blazing and decide to shoot every one of those fuckers. I wouldn't feel sorry for them. I wouldn't. I mean, you're going to go around and just beat someone up for something as minor as a little traffic accident, which could be resolved through the insurance company. You know, you file a police report, you file an accident report with the police. All of that could have been resolved without having to get with all this senseless violence and whatnot. But you know, it's absolutely sickening how so many people, and like I said, this is all black people, and no one wants to bring that up, and I will continue to hammer it. Because whenever this shit happens, think about it, look at all the trans women that have been murdered here in the United States. 90% of them have been black men, between the ages of 18 to 35. And I showed you the two news clips, right? Notice how they post the mugshot, but they won't mention that the suspect has been a black man. They won't mention it. None of the mainstream media will mention it because it's the politically incorrect truth. Now, what I said earlier about the video, no one came in to help this woman. You see, guys, you know, even the cameraman himself, all he was worrying about was getting high, smoking weed, and he was smoking weed in the fucking store. He was going outside smoking weed with his homeboys. I'm like, lad, you got the phone. You could have told someone to call the police. But he's just as guilty because he chose to film it instead of actually helping her, doing something about it, or telling somebody to call the police. He's over here getting high, smoking weed, passing the blunt around with all of his friends and whatnot. You know, you got people outside laughing and cheering it on. I mean, this woman could have easily had gotten killed by all of those people. And people want to downplaying it, saying, oh, I don't really believe that there was 30 people. Look at the fucking video. There was a lot of fucking people there. There was even a woman that participated in this beating. Now, if the cops showed up, I honestly wouldn't give a damn. I wouldn't march, I wouldn't cry, I wouldn't shed a tear, because I'm tired of this shit happening. And that's what I gotta say. You guys want to hold the police accountable for all this stuff, but you won't even hold people within your own community responsible for what they do. And that's one of the criticisms I have with, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement. It seems like some Black lives matter more than others, and especially if it's you're part of the LGBT community. And you know, that's rather sad, because you know, I'm like literally the only person that's not even a part of the LGBT community, and I talk about these issues as much as I can. There's a channel that I'm subscribed to called the African Diaspora News Network. They've been around since the early days of YouTube. So the host is an OG. His name is Philip Scott. Go look him up. You'll like what he posts and whatnot. But the main criticism I have with him is that he himself doesn't even care. Like, I look on his channel, he posts a lot about, you know, George Floyd. He posts a lot about a lot of the black men and women that have been murdered here in the United States. But he hasn't said anything about any of the trans people that were murdered. I wonder why. Now, to be fair to him, he's not really a Black Lives Matter activist. He's more of like an Afrocentric type of YouTuber. But what I have noticed is that he only posts about LGBT rights when he's talking down on them. Like, for example, the little girl that got suspended from school over in the UK because she made a homophobic comment. The trans woman Malaysia Booker, who was murdered in Texas, where he's from. The African Diaspora News Network is based in Texas. He started the show off as Advise Show Network, and then he changed it to African Diaspora Network, and it's based out in Houston. Now, Malaysia was attacked and murdered in Dallas. He didn't say anything in April when she was beaten up by that crazy lad, and he didn't say anything when she was murdered. And that goes to show you where a lot of black people stand on these issues. But yeah, when I bring this up, everybody wants to call me all sorts of names. They want to call me a corn muffin, they want to call me a fucking raccoon. Fuck, you want to call me a fucking raccoon, then shit, I might change my name to fucking Sly Cooper. But either way, I'm tired of this shit happening time after time after time again, and no one's saying anything. And this is why nobody trusts the mainstream media, because they will intentionally leave out facts, just so they won't have to offend anybody because they're afraid of being politically incorrect. And that's why most people are getting their news from YouTube and other, alternative sources. And to give some credit to the Black Lives Matter movement, there have been some people that do speak out against this type of violence in the LGBT community. I was just at a rally the other day, and they did mention Tony McDade, the lad that was killed by police over in Florida. They also mentioned, other violent incidents that happened to trans women of color. And at one point they had a speaker that said trans lives matter. And I have to give credit when credit's due, because I criticize the Black Lives Matter movement a lot. Mostly because I don't like some of the tactics that they use. I don't like the whole pro-censorship thing. I don't fall in line with the whole extreme SJW type shit. But I'm glad that they mentioned it, because, a lot of people want to sweep black on black crime under the rug and say, oh, well, it's off topic. But my thing is this, if black lives matter, then all black lives should matter. It shouldn't matter whether it's a police officer, or if it's, a vigilante, or if it's two guys in a fucking pickup truck, if it's a neighborhood watchman, or even if it's the local drug dealer or gangbanger or anything. Alright? Anybody that threatens, the life of a black person should be held accountable for their actions. And some people are gonna hate me for saying that, but at this point, I'm just sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of, looking at the newspaper and seeing, dead trans women here, a dead black man there, a guy gets shot in the house, a drive-by shooting there. This is all problems that we all have to address. If black lives matter, then all black lives should fucking matter. And we shouldn't be afraid of being politically incorrect, and we shouldn't be afraid of who we're going to offend. Because, the truth sometimes hurts. It's a tough pill to swallow, but we all gotta do it, Fuck. It's fucking hot in here. Now, Ayana Dior does have a Cash App. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the link somewhere down here. The guys can donate to her. She says she's doing a lot better. But, a little bit will help. Because, that was a brutal attack. I support all my trans friends. Whether they be here in the United States, in the UK, in the Philippines, and I do worry about them a lot. If I lose contact with any of them, I start getting a little paranoid. And also, before I go, I know people are going to get offended by me saying this, but I also believe that trans people also should have a way of defense. Because we already know this is probably going to happen again. It's probably going to be another black person out there doing it, because it always is, and it always keeps happening. Possibly invest in a firearm. I'm dead serious when I say this. I live in New Jersey. It's really hard to get firearms out here. Well, hell, it's even hard to get knives out here. And I literally had to get permission to get a hatchet or an axe to chop wood. So, if you live in a state where you have access to firearms, get your IDs, your birth certificate, everything you need to get together, and apply for a gun permit or a concealed carry permit. Invest in a gun training course, or any weapons training course, or even if you're afraid to own a weapon, sign up for a karate class or a judo class or boxing, because I'm sick and tired of seeing all this. I'm sick and tired of seeing trans women getting beaten up and killed. Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale believed in self-defense, and you know what? I also believe in self-defense. And you know what? So whether you have to arm up, take a martial arts class, do some exercises, anything you can to make these fucking homophobes and transphobes have something to fear, and make them think twice before fucking messing with you. I mean, I hate to sound like a right wing or anything like that, but I guarantee if somebody flashed a gun, that would be enough to make somebody urinate their trousers. So I pretty much said all that needed to be said. Everything else has either been said and done already. And if you have the time and the ability, just donate to her Cash App. And, you know, send Ayana your love and support, because, you know, she needs it right now. She needs the community behind it. And, you know, the satanic community, at least here in New Jersey, we all stand behind trans people. So they'll always have a friend over here in the East Coast. And to any other trans person that's out there listening, just let it be known that in New Jersey, you have a strong friend and a strong ally here at the Satanic Panic Show.